Okay, so hello everyone, and welcome back to our second of our React Essentials. And here we are. Okay, yep, Suraj, Rajput, and how many people we have right now? Like 16. Yeah. Okay, so good evening. Am I audible to you? Like, and you can see me. And by the way, I can see that you can see me. Okay, so that's great. Some people are here. Okay, so it's a second day, and today we are going to actually do some React stuff. So yesterday we just had some little bit of introduction, and we just came to know that how React actually works, what are the problem it solves, and all. So today is the day when we are going to actually use the React to create something. And at the very end, I will also let you know like how you can deploy your own website to the web, and so that you can share it to your friends and like family, just to look little cool. Okay. Uh, okay, we will meet again at 30. Okay, so here we asked late. I left the yesterday class. I will be able to get the certificate. Yeah, you can by the way get you can just revisit the yesterday session and you can just mark the attendance. And saying of attendance, let me just tell you how to mark your attendance properly so that you won't do any kind of mistake there. So if you just go to the description of this video, you will get this link. Yeah, just one link. Just click on this and okay, as I hope that you are already signed up, so you have to join here, like login, and here we will see that mark attendance like on the day 2. You will see the mark attendance for the day 1. You will see the mark attendance here. Just mark the attendance here, and here we will ask you some questions. So like if you recommend this session, like if you're just it's related to how much you like this session. Like if you like this session so much, just mark 10, and if you don't like this session, don't mark 10. Okay, like don't mark 0. So by the way, you can just put 10 here if you like the session and me. And after that, if you are interested in our full stack web development and machine development machine learning course, just mark yes here. And if you have any suggestion for us, you can just choose a suggestion like if you have something related to instruction or any other thing, you can basically type something here. Or right now I'm just going to put nothing here. So this one, if you like our session, like this video, and if you're interested in a full stack program, so in that case, and just submit your attendance. Okay, I'm just telling you this because most of the time people just skip the attendance, or they just mark attendance in not a very good manner. So if it's most of the time they just mark 0 there because they like don't understand what is this scale is for. So okay, you can just go there and mark 10 and whatever you feel like. So this is related to the assignment. And by the way, all the details you can find here only, like in the one link. So we have this one link here for you. Okay. So, so let's just anyone from Delhi good in JavaScript? I'm not from Delhi, but I'm really good with JavaScript. Okay, so here we are, and let's start today's topic. So, shall we? And I have an announcement for you, by the way. And I will just throw like give you this announcement at the very beginning of this session, like in the middle of the session. Like we have some quizzes and all, and the winner of the quiz basically gets 500 rupees of Amazon voucher. So that's why I'm just going to announce the winner for yesterday's quiz in the middle of the session. So don't like just leave the session for now. Okay. So let's just start with our React day 2, and remember where we left yesterday. So like you can rewatch the yesterday's video, but we can if you haven't watched the yesterday's video, no worries, you can just watch today's stream. It's very easy to work with. And by the way, the first thing that we need to do is to install Node.js, and I will just let you know why we need to do this. So just Google Node.js. And actually, we are going to use this Node.js. Actually, no, we are not going to use Node.js. React is actually going to use Node.js behind the scene. So that's why just type Node.js on your Google, and you can just find these two links. And I will prefer you to download this one. And by the way, you can download any one of them, and it's very easy to install it. Just click on the download and it will get downloaded for you, and just click open your the downloaded file. And after that, all you have to do is to press next, 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 and it's done. Okay, it's done. It's very easy to install the Node.js. And I have already installed Node.js, and if you want to check like if Node.js is installed properly or not, just open cmd. If you just want, like, you can skip this part, right? But if you just want to check if Node.js is installed properly, just type node dash v, okay, and press enter, and it will just give you a number. And if you're getting a number, like, you're good to go. And like, file is downloaded here. Just open this file, and all you have to do is to like next, 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 and it's done. Okay, I hope it's clear to you. Do let me know in the chat if you have any doubt related to the installation of Node.js. Okay, I accept, next, next, and next, and next, and just press install and it will get installed. Okay, I hope everything is clear to you. Okay, by the way, just to ask me any question in the like in the chat if you have any question related to the installation part. Once you have completed this part, now you can basically create your first React, okay, React project. For that, just you can just create a new folder, or like wherever you want to create your new project, just right click there and open your terminal. Okay, after that you have to basically execute a command, and the command is npx create react app. And after that you have to like put the name for your app. Name for your app is just like name of your website or the project that you are basically creating. So suppose if I'm creating a website for Adidas, so I will just name this thing Adidas. Okay, so it's basically a name. What is the spelling of Adidas, by the way? I think this is the, and like, let's just create a website for Nike. Okay, and we are going to create something for Nike, and just press enter, npx create react app, and just press enter, and just wait for a while. It's just going to do all the stuff for us. It's just going to create a basic react app for us. Okay, so you basically, you don't have to do anything from the scratch. This command will automatically create a very basic react project for us. And after that, we are going to understand like what is what and how it actually working, how we can modify it, how we can create all the stuff, and basically all the cool stuff. Until then, let me just give you a quick recap. So React is created by Facebook because creating a huge project just by using HTML, CSS, and JavaScript was a huge headache. So they created something called React, and I just given you some demo like how React actually works. So you can basically select an element, and now you can modify that element just by using React. Okay. And by the way, I have already completed this step before the starting of this video. So by the way, let me just close this thing. And here is our project. Okay, and now if you just open the project, you will see these files and all. Yeah, they look little bit difficult to understand in the first glance, but most of the file basically do nothing. Okay, they are there for some purpose, and we don't actually modify them. So first folder that you are looking here is node modules. So we actually don't do anything with this node modules folder. It's there, and let it be there. Okay, don't touch it. And also, we don't ever touch the public folder. We are going to touch the public folder, but only like 1 to 2% of the time. And all our code is inside the source folder. And I will explain you rest of the file. Like, this is the readme file. So you can basically add all the readme stuff. So let me just put a readme here. So it's a project. You, by the way, you can skip this. It's a project, okay, for day 2, and just give it a save. So this is a readme file, just a regular readme file. And let's just open the source folder. So this is the folder that in which we are interested in. So in this folder, there is only one file we are looking for, and this file name is app.js. Okay, this file is app.js, and let me just open this file for you, app.js. Okay, that's all. So this is the file in which we are going to do our actual coding stuff, like creating and all. And now how to like open this project, like, so just open your terminal, like click on the terminal and the new terminal, and now you have to execute a command. And trust me, we just have two commands. First command was to create a new project, and second one is to start our project. So just type npm and type start, start, and just press enter. Okay, that's all. So two commands, more than enough, and a project, that's all. Okay, and I know like these two things look little bit difficult to understand, but these are not actually. It's the first time doing commands, and also that's why you may find okay how you're going to achieve this. But it's very easy. You just have to do all of this once, and that's all. Okay, and now it's actually starting, so it will take a little bit time in the first run. So here is our React website. Okay, so basically React actually gives us a blank website, so it's a demo website. So basically we can check this if everything is working fine or not. So now let me just put these two things side by side. Okay, and let me just close the terminal. To close the terminal, click on this close button, and here we are. Okay, now, as you can see, it looks little bit difficult to understand at the first glance, but let me just show you a function app. So this is a function. Okay, just hear me properly. Like it's very easy. So here we have a function. Okay, inside this function, we are actually returning some kind of HTML. Okay, some kind of HTML. So this function app is actually returning a function. By the way, it's just an app name. You can basically rename it to anything like my app. Everything will work fine. Okay, so they just put app by default. You can change it. Okay, you can basically change it to anything, and after that this thing is actually returning an kind of HTML. Okay, and you can basically, this is the thing which was like we are seeing this thing here only. So let me just do something for you. So if I just close it, and if I just remove everything from here, everything is from here, and if I just give it a save, so as you can see everything is gone. Okay, everything is on gone. We are just getting a white page. So, and let me just remove this as well. Okay, and let me just type something here. So like h1 hello WORLD, and if I just give it a save, so you can see whatever you write inside this thing. Okay, inside this thing you will see it on the screen. Okay, you will see it that on the screen. So like you can put emoji as well, and if I just give it a save, and it will update like within a second. So it's very easy to create a website. So let me just create some kind of web page here, like div, and let me just create a header, like header, and after that we are going to have a section. And by the way, I'm just using these are the what you say, a semantic tags. Okay, sections, and by the way you can just replace them with divs. It's just going to make no difference for now. So like three divs, div, and the first div is the header, or you can say it like as a navigation bar, navigation. Like we are just creating a very basic web page here, navigation, and after that main page, and after that some footer. Okay, and if I just give it a save, we will get these three things here. Okay, so whatever you put inside this thing, it will be visible on the screen like this. So actually this is your website. So now you're actually going to create your web page here. So what we are going to do today, I'm just going to create a counter. Okay, so we are just going to have two buttons, +1 and -1, and if somebody clicks on the plus button, the number is just going to increase. If somebody clicks on the minus button, the number is going to decrease. Okay, and it's going to be so easy, maybe difficult at the first run. So let me just give it a title, and by the way let me just remove this as well. Okay, and this thing as well. So it's just a function. So basically I removed everything. At the very end we will just will be left with this thing. So this thing is in the file app.js inside the source folder, and we are just going to write our whole code inside this source folder and inside this app.js file. Okay, and by the way you can delete this and this, and don't delete this one. Okay, and I will just clear the whole project for you at the very end. And what I'm going to do, I'm just going to create right here like counter app. Okay, the counter. Okay, and I'm just going to give it a save. So we are getting counter here. Okay, and I'm just going to create a division here. Inside this division, I'm just going to like the count is, I'm just going to put count strng, strong, count. And what I'm going to do, I'm just going to put like division here, or span. Basically just use a span for now. span, span, and I'm just going to put 0 here for now. And if I just give it a save, so I'm just getting this counter and count 0. Let me just put a hyphen as well. And after that, I'm just going to put like I'm just going to create two buttons, like one for the increment and one for the decrement button. Let me just use the emoji. So minus this one and icon for plus. Okay. And if I just give it a save, so here we have our two buttons. Okay. Now what I want, as soon as I click on this plus button, this 0 should increase. Okay. As soon as I click on this button, yeah, don't worry, I will just come to everything. But for now, just focus on this part. Okay. In this app part. And for now, all you know that whatever you put inside here is just going to be displayed on the screen. Okay. That's all we need for now. I'm just going to cover rest of the things. Just stay with me for now. So like here I've created very basic HTML. Okay, like I have written very basic HTML here. So what I want, as soon as I click on this button, I just want to increase this counter. And as soon as I click on this button, I just want to decrease this number. So by the way, it's not like for like increment and for the decrement, we need some kind of variable. So like if you're familiar with JavaScript, like we can create a variable here. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm just going to create a variable called let. Okay, I'm just going to, and let me just create this variable number. Okay, number, and I'm just going to make this thing equals to 0. Okay, so here I have created a variable called number and the value of this number is 0. But now I want to use this variable inside this UI. Okay, because whatever I put here is actually visible on the screen. So I just want to use this variable, this number variable inside this HTML, like basically here. I just want to put this 0 here, this variable here. How we are going to do this? Again, it's very easy. All you have to do is to just type the variable name. So the variable name is number. Okay, the variable name, exactly this thing. And what you have to do is to wrap this thing inside this bracket. Okay, so wrap this variable inside these brackets. Okay, the curly brackets, these brackets. And now if I just give it a save, you will see that we are still getting 0. Why? Because the value of number variable is 0. Let me just show you one more thing. So if I just increase this to 100 and if I just give it a save, we will get 100 here. Okay, we are just getting 100 here, and that's all. And let me just create one more variable called app name. Okay, app name, and so that we can basically a counter app, a counter app. So instead of this counter, like this title here, this title, I just want to use this title. So how I'm going to do that? Like it's very easy. Just put these curly brackets here, and inside this, just put the variable name. And if I just give it a save, so actually we are using this variable here. Okay, isn't it easy? Like nothing fancy. It's very easy. All you have to do this kind of stuff only. Okay. By the way, ask me any doubt if you're having till now, like till this part of the class. Okay, just confirm that we have declared the variable at let on let on just to confirm, we have to declare number as let or const or not const. Basically, you can declare the variable like using let or const, whatever you want. It completely depends on if you want to increase the number, like if you want to change the value, use let. If you don't want to change the value, just use const. Okay, how simultaneously basically I'm using extension which is actually helping me to write the name, type the name. Yeah, so I can do this auto complete text. Basically it's the name of the extension, I think. Span. Okay, here they are. Okay, that's great. So no doubts? अरे कोई तो doubt हो. I think it's very easy. Before React, we should know ES6. It will be really good if you know ES6, but we can write our whole JavaScript, JavaScript inside the React with using ES5. So what I can do, I can also create like var. Okay. So if you don't know about ES6 JavaScript, it's completely fine, no worries. So I'm just going to create a variable count by using var, and instead of number, I can use it as well. So it's not necessary to use the latest syntax. It's going to work fine with the older version of, like, you can work with ES5 or anything like that. Okay, it must be JavaScript, obviously. Okay, that's great. Now what I want, on this function, like as soon as we click on this button, I want something to happen. Okay, as soon as I click on this minus button, I want something to happen. And again, it's very easy to do. So let me just create a function for you. Okay, So I'm just going to create a function const. You can name this function anything. So like I'm just going to name this function click. Okay, click. And after that, I'm just creating this function. Okay, and let me just put alert here. Alert, hello, you clicked me. Okay, hello, you clicked me. So I have just created a function click. Okay, and if you're not comfortable with ES6, let me just write the same function with ES5. So for that, what we are going to do, function count, and after that, alert, hello, you clicked me. Okay, so you can just go with the ES6 or with the ES5. And for those who don't know the ES6, it's very easy. In ES6, to create a function, like this is the ES5 way, like older way of creating a function. But you can also create a function by using the latest syntax of the ES6. For that, just use const. Okay, always use const because also obviously you don't want to change this value. Const, name of the function. By the way, you can use var here as well. Okay, you can use var or let here as well. But if you don't generally do this, always use const to basically to create a function, declare a function too. And here you have to write the name of your function, and after that put a equal sign, and after that use these curly brackets, these simple brackets, and after that you have to use this symbol. This is called arrow. Okay, arrow. And how to make this thing, just put equal and lesser than sign. Okay, greater than or lesser than, however you see it. And after the rest of the stuff is same. Okay, so let me just convert this function, let me just convert this function into ES6. For that, instead of this function, just type const. Okay, just type const, and inside this part, okay, just put a equal symbol. That's all. And after that, after this brackets, just put a equal sign and a lesser than sign. Okay, that's all. So it's a latest way of writing the functions in the JavaScript. Okay, so what we want, as soon as somebody clicks on this button, I just want to execute this function. Okay, and what is this alert? So alert is same as doing console.log. It's same as doing console.log, but alert will actually show a pop-up, and it's not related to JavaScript. It's basically basic it's not related to React. It's a basic JavaScript. You can put alert here, but for now I'm just going to put a console.log, and after that I will just replace this console.log with alert. Okay, and now what I want, as soon as somebody click on this button, I just want to execute this function. For that, what you have to do, just go over here on this function, this button tag, and inside here all you have to do is type on on click equals to, and these two curly brackets. Okay, on click equals to and these two curly brackets, and you have to pass the name of function that you want to execute. So I just want to execute this function here. Just put count and count. Okay, and let's just give it a save, and it's done. And let me just open a console panel so that we can see that if this function is working properly or not. So let me just open this console here, and let me just clear everything. So as soon as I click on this button, so as you can see, we are getting this thing. Okay, but it's logging whatever we written here. And let me just replace this console.log with alert. Okay, so that we can see a pop-up, so that we don't have to open the console panel again and again. So I'm just going to close this for now, and as soon as I click on this minus button, it's showing me an alert. Okay, hey, you clicked on me. Okay, here, hello, you have clicked on me. Hello, you have clicked on me. Okay, so it's very easy to execute a function on any button. By the way, you can put this on click property everywhere, anywhere. Okay, so if you want to do something, if anybody clicks on this button, on this element, okay, if anybody click on this element, just go over here on H1 and put on click equals to, and here also you can pass a function. So let me create another function, const heading click. Okay, you can name this function anything, by the way, heading click, and equals to, and alert, you have clicked the heading. Let me just copy this name and let's just paste it here. And if I just give it a refresh, and here we are. So if I click on this thing, I'm getting you have clicked on the heading. So you clicked the heading. So isn't it felt like it's very easy to execute a function? So like in the vanilla JavaScript, you have to grab the element, and after that you like set up an event listener and a lot of stuff. But here it's very easy. Just create a function that you want to execute and just put that function name on click. Okay, that's all. And by the way, if you don't want to create a separate function, you can directly write the function here only. So if you don't want to create a separate function here, so just inside this on click and equals to these bracket, you can directly write a anonymous function. For that, just put these two like curly brackets equals to greater than sign and these two thing. Okay, and just write your function directly here. Console.log. Okay, hello. And so what I've done actually, so instead of mentioning this whole name here, this name here, what I've done, you can just copy paste everything after this equal sign, copy this thing, and you can paste this thing instead of the name. Okay, and now we don't have to create any function, separate function. Okay, it's just going to work fine. Okay, it's just going to work exactly same. Okay, it's working like that. So yeah, I'm just going to ask you something, like if you are facing any other problems or doubt or something like that, you can ask me now. And let me just fat arrow function. Yeah, fat arrow function. What is Babel? Okay, Narendra Jadhav, Babel is a thing which actually help us to basically convert the latest version of JavaScript into the older version. And for those who don't have, you haven't heard about Babel, no worries, it's not a concern for now. Press the window plus yeah, to open this thing like this emoji, just press window and dot. Okay, so this thing will get open for you. Okay, which is the theme you are using? I am using material theme. Why written is using, sir? So can you just ask your question again? Here we are. Okay, so let me just tell you something more. So what we want, as soon as somebody click on this button, we just want to increase the number, isn't it? So like we just want to increase the value of this number, which is by default 100 is. So for now, I'm just going to remove all the unnecessary functions, or we can just keep it like this. Okay, let's just remove this because we are not actually using them. So let me just remove this here as well. Just give me 1 second. Okay, increase. So I'm just going to create a function called const increase. Okay, so I'm just going to create a function increase here, and I'm just going to paste this function obviously at the +1. Okay, on click increase, and again I'm just going to create another function const decrease. Obviously we need like two functions, increase and decrease. So I have just created two functions without anything inside it, and I'm just going to mention the name here. Okay, and what I'm just going to do for now, I'm just going to log out alert increase and alert decrease, so that we can see that everything is working or not, because I'm not sure about this code is going to work. Actually I am, but we usually do this thing. So increase and decrease, increase decrease, so it's working. By the way, instead of this suspend, let's just use h. Okay, some heading tag, because they are looking too tiny on the screen. So let me just increase the font size. For that I'm just going to use some h2s here, h2, and let's just put these two things side of it. Okay, some h2 here. Okay, so like little bit larger. And okay, so let me just do a little bit of styling as well, because this page is looking damn ugly, isn't it? So it's looking really very ugly, and also there is no kind of thing like layout here. So how we are going to do styling in Reactjs? Okay, and as I told you, like it's just going to be very easy. Yeah, we are just going to increase the number, but before that I just want to make this thing like look a little pretty, so that we can see. It's like it's very ugly for now. So what I'm going to do, can you just please the provider the description for returning the JS? Okay, which theme here? JS is ES5, ES6, night and updated version. So let me just clear this ES caution for you. So basically JavaScript have a various version. So these versions are same as if you're like on the Android. So we have Android 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Similarly, we have JavaScript version. So we have JavaScript 5, JavaScript 6, JavaScript 7, 8, 9, 10. By the way, you don't basically have to take so much of tension. If you know the JavaScript version 6, like it's called ES6, it's more than enough. By the way, for this session, if you already only know the JavaScript version 5, like ES5, it's more than enough. whatever ES6 syntax that I'm going to use, I will just explain it to you. So don't worry about that. Yeah, React plus Django is possible because React is actually a front end. So basically, somebody's asking, like Naren, that React plus Django is possible. Obviously, it is, because it will just help us to create the front end. Okay, you can also, yeah, we can do that. Okay, es means ECMAScript. So basically, es just like name. Okay, ECMAScript 6, basically it's JavaScript version 6, ECMAScript 7, JavaScript version 7. Okay, so like it's a way to look cool for now. Okay, that's all. I think you got my like my answer was you is satisfied with my answer. By the way, like you don't have to worry about these names and all. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to style this stuff because it's damn ugly. So for that, let me just open this thing here, and let me just open my VS Code first of all. So how we do our styling in the regular, like when with a vanilla JavaScript, we create a CSS file, isn't it? So for now, I'm just going to create a CSS file for you, and so you can just go inside this folder, like this source folder. Okay, and you can create a new folder here called styles. By the way, if you don't want to create a new folder, it's completely fine, and just create this folder. Okay, styles, and inside this styles folder, I'm going to create a new CSS file. So why I'm doing this, I'm just creating a new folder so that we can save our CSS in a folder. I don't like my CSS to be everywhere, so I just create a one folder styles, and I will just put all of my styling there only. So I'm just going to create a style folder, and let me just name this thing main.css, or you can name this thing anything, basic styling.css. So for now, I'm just going to name this thing app.css. Let's just go with main.css. Okay, main.css, and inside this, I'm just going to write my whole CSS. Okay, that's all. So let me just write some styling here. So for that, let me just create a ID like title. Let me just create a class called container. Okay, container, and let me just give this container a display flex and some basic styling here. And let me just give this thing a width also, like width of like 80%. Okay, justify color, like basic styling stuff. And now how to use this class, like I have created this as class. So what I want to do, let's just go to your this app.js, and here how we use the CSS in our JavaScript, in our HTML. Just go over here in the div, like, and just type class, and you have to mention the class name. Okay, so the class name is container. So let's just put container here, container. Okay, container, and just give it a save. Okay, but nothing happened here. So we have created this class. We have, by the way, we created a CSS file inside this styles folder, and this is our app.css, and this main.css contains a class. Let me just change the background color so that we can see the difference. So let's just go with this color for now. And if I just give it a save, nothing is actually happening. Why? We just have to do one more step. So after creating a new file, adding up some classes and all, like whatever style you want to do, and you have to mention the class here. By the way, rest of the things are same as doing the CSS with the regular CSS. So CSS is same. Okay, you don't have to learn CSS from very scratch again. And what you have to do is to import your CSS file here. So inside this app.js, what you have to do, just go to the at the very top and just type import, and put the and mention the file name. Okay, mention the file name. So where is right now I am in the current file. So let me just enter the file name, style main.css. Okay, so here I am actually mentioning the path of the file related to this file. Okay, the path of the CSS file in respect to this file. If our CSS file is not inside a folder, if your CSS file is in the open, so let me just create one more CSS file. So like let me just name this test.css. Okay, so here I have created another CSS file, test.css, and let me just grab h1 here, and let me just give this h1 a red color. Okay, I have given this h1 a red color. And now if you want to use this CSS file, this test.css, just go to the very top, like go at the very top of your app.js, and inside this just type import. Okay, use this quotes, and inside this just put a dot symbol, dot and backslash. So it will show all the files and folder inside this thing. Okay, like inside this source folder. Okay, and after that you have to select the file, CSS file that you want to use. So I just want to use test.css, and if I just give it a save, and let me just give it a save again. So you can see our styling is applied. So let me just go to this app.cs, okay, this test.css, and let me just grab h2 here as well, h2 and color blue, okay. So h2 color blue, so like these two h2s, it's just going to be colored blue. And if I just give it a save, and you can see the style is different. But in our case, obviously CSS file is not like here. We have created a separate folder styles. Inside that we have basically created our CSS file. For that, just type import dot and forward slash. So it will just show you all the files and folder inside the source folder, okay, all the files and folder inside this folder. So it's actually we are locating the file that you want to select, and it's very easy to do. If you want to select anything from the same folder, just put dot and backslash and just select the file. And now after that, if you want to select styles folder, select the style folder, put a slash again, and after that it will show all the files inside this styles folder. And right now we just have a single file inside this style folder, which is main.css. If I just create one more CSS file here, like uh, what you can say this utils.css, okay. And if I have just created one more file inside this styles folder. So if I just go over here, and after the styles, if I just put a forward slash, now it's showing me both the files here, okay. So let me just choose main.css for now, and if I just go over here, and you can see we are getting a background here. So by the way, let me just choose some special colors for that. So I have a very specific website for choosing colors because I'm not really good with choosing colors. So that's why I just go with this website called colorhunt.io. So there is something called color theory, okay. So not all colors look good with any other color. So basically there's a formula, and by using that formula, basically you can create some combination of colors, but this website will do it for you. So here we have some color palettes, and these colors will actually gonna look really good with each other. So I'm just going to use this color palette. You can choose any of the color palette from your liking. So I'm just going to use this black color for my background. So let me just go over here, and let's just put this color at the background. So here we have our background, and for the text I'm just going to use this white color. So let me just give this color property, and here we are, okay. And if I just give it a save, so here we have like this color, okay. And I think that's more than enough. And one more thing, I just want to use the margin as well. So margin auto, okay. So like 0 auto. So now everything is in the dead center, okay. So here we are. So like our counter app is almost like only thing that we have to do is like increment and decrement the stuff. So this is how we do the styling, and we have one more way by which you can do your styling. And if you don't like creating a separate file for your styling, there is one more easier way to do all of your styling, and it's very easy to do. So it's called inline styling, okay. If you don't want to create a separate CSS file, what you can do, suppose I just want to style this box, okay. I just want to style this division, is this division. Just go over here, okay, and here you can just type style, okay, equals to style equals to, and use these two curly brackets, okay. And let me just give it a save, and after that you also have to use one more time, okay. So what you can do, just select the division, like select the element which you want to style, and just type style here equals to, and after that you have to put these two curly brackets and again these two curly brackets. So actually we are going to pass a object here, okay. So like these two curly brackets, that's all. And let me just remove it for now. So I'm just going to create a style for you. So const just create an object. So like style, let me just remove this for now. We are just going to type directly here. So like style, and after that I will tell you a better way of doing this, the style. And inside this you can basically write your own styling, like basic CSS here directly. So like display flex, okay, so it's now changed. And let me just put a background color also. Justify center, align item center, a background color as well. So the color background color, and the color that you want to choose. So I'm just going to choose this color for the background, okay. So let me just use this thing, tick tick, and let me just give it a save. And if you just give it a save, now we have a background as well. And let me just give it a margin, let's just give it margin block, okay. margin block of 10 pixels. Okay, here we have a margin, and let's just put a counter app. Okay, let me just rename this thing to counter app, and if I just give it a save, so we got this counter app. And let me just put an emoji as well, count. Okay, let's just use this icon for now. Okay, okay, here we are, and let's just change this thing to H2 because it's too huge here. Okay, here we have upper counter, and now let me just use some little bit of padding as well, because yep, I just want to make this thing look little bit pretty. Okay, just give it, and here we have a padding and little bit of border radius as well, border radius of 10 pixels. Okay, so here we have created a counter. So like this is the basic way of giving any kind of style to, or to like your HTML element, like this JSX element. And we have two ways. So you can just go with creating a separate CSS file, or you can directly write all of your styling here only. And let me just tell you some of the rules. Like we cannot, if there's any styling have hyphen. Okay, so in CSS, border radius have basically a hyphen in between of them, like in between the border and the radius, but we cannot basically use this hyphens here. So like just remove this hyphen, and the letter which was after the hyphen, just increase, like convert it to the in the basically in the capital letter, the uppercase. So it's called basically camel casing. So you have to convert all of your CSS property in the camel casing if they have any kind of hyphen in them. So let me just give you an example for now. So if a CSS property, let's just say background color. Okay, background color. So in CSS, how background color is, like this is the background to CS. And if you just want to convert this thing into camel case, just type background color. Okay, so this is camel case. In camel case, basically we just start each new word with a capital letter. So suppose if I just want to type hi, I am Sanjay. Hey, I am Sanjay. So how I will write this thing in camel casing? Hey, I am Sanjay. Okay, so I have just converted this thing into the capital, like in the camel case. Okay, so just convert all of your styling CSS property in the camel case, and everything is done for you. Like all the things are same, nothing changed here. Okay, here we are. So by the way, and let me just go through the chat one more time so that you people are still here and you don't have any kind of doubts and all. Okay, the second CSS file will be override. Camel case. Okay, so Atpal, I just told you about what is the camel case. Are you? Yeah, I use VS Code. I am using a theme called Material theme. Okay. Okay, so we have so many questions here right now. Okay. Yeah, we can use this thing about the component. Yeah, Vipin, we are just going to cover this component part right now. Just to get these emojis, just put window, just press window and the dot symbol together. Okay, somebody answered this question. What is the use of return? Yeah, Sham, I'm just going to answer your question. Like, what is the purpose of return and all? Okay, so here we are. So here we have just created a very basic, very basic layout. And what I'm going to do now, let's just do some more stuff here. And let me just decrease the padding here, padding in line, so it's looking a little better. And by the way, you can import as much as CSS you want. Like you can create multiple CSS and you can just import them. And let me just give this a border radius here as well, radius of 10 pixels. So now these things will be also a little bit rounded. Okay, that's great. And after that, we will also like style these buttons, and also that we can see the other styling stuff, everything, like literally everything. And now let's just move to the second part, which you people are like going crazy. Like, what is this return is? So it's going to be a little bit tricky, and just bear with me because you may find this thing difficult to understand. But for now, if let me just focus on the source folder. Let's And if you just go to this index.css, if you just go over to this index.css, you will see like some basic code is written here. But you can just focus here. You can just focus here. They have also done exactly what we did yesterday. Like they are actually doing what we did yesterday. And by the way, let me just remove all the unnecessary stuff for now. like you don't need this file, what you can remove. Okay, and after that I will tell you what like what is this file. So like this, remove this report vitals and all. We don't want to report some vitals and all. And after that you can also remove this index.css. We don't this thing right now. Okay, and now we can give it a save. And also you can remove this React strict mode. It's not necessary now. Okay, so now if you just look closely, we have already written these two lines yesterday. Okay, we have already written like we have already completed these two lines yesterday. And if I just go over here, so like they have grabbed an element called root from the HTML file. And where you can find this HTML file, if you just go inside this public folder, remember what I told you, we generally don't touch this public folder. Inside this public folder, you will see we have a index.html. If I just click over it, and if I just go down, you will see they have a division called root. Okay, this root. So they are basically selecting this division. They are just selecting this division, and now React is going to render, it's just going to create a whole UI, and it's just going to put everything inside this root. Okay, inside this division. That's why we have a division here. If I just remove this thing from here, okay, and if I just give it a refresh, okay, so we are seeing nothing. Okay, why? Because this is the division that we are actually grabbing here, and we are putting all of our UI here only. So we have just thing called root.render. By the way, you can name this thing anything. So like if you're having any doubts and all, you can just watch the previous session. So what you can do, so here we have grabbed the root element. So let me just rewrite this line one more time. So how actually you can write this file from your own. First of all, we have to select an element on which we want to enter some data, like a root element. Okay, so for that, just select the root element. Okay, just select the root element, and it's very easy to select the root element. Document.get element by id, and just pass the name of the id. So we are selecting this element. By the way, you can rename this thing to anything. I can just name this thing to like main box. Okay, main box or something like that. You can name this thing anything. And let me just type main box here. Okay, so and to show you, this is actually the HTML file which is actually visible here. So if I just add something here, like if I just add a h1 tag here as well, h1 hello, I am index HTML. Okay, and if I just give it a save, you will see that I'm getting something here. Okay, so this is actually the HTML file which is we are seeing till now, and this HTML file is actually blank. Why? Because we are just going to add all our UI using the React. Okay, so let me just remove it for now. And by the way, if you want, let me just use the root name here only, and I'm just going to put some content here. Okay, so outside box. Okay, this outside box is actually this thing. Okay, and whatever you do, it's just going to be insert here. And after that, okay, after that we have just selected our root element, so the root. And after that, what we have to do, we have to just create a root. Okay, just create a root here. So just for that, just type const root equals to react dot create root, and pass the root element here. And after that, you will get a root component. Okay, root object. And on this root object, we basically perform a function called render, root dot render. And whatever you pass inside this render function is actually going to be visible on the screen. So if I just give it a save, nothing is actually happening. If I just put I am from React. Okay, I am from React, and if I just give it a save, you will see that this thing is like appearing here. Okay, but that's not so useful, like like putting up text here. So what we generally do, we put some kind of directly HTML here. Okay, like h1 I am from React. Okay, because we can do this in React, we can just type directly all of your HTML here. Okay, but it is not also like really good practice. Like we don't generally do this. What we actually do, we create a function. So let me just create a function. So function, you can name this function anything. So I'm just going to name this function UI, or like some function. Okay, some function. So here I've created a function, and now this function is actually going to return this HTML. Okay, why? Because our function can return anything. So let me just take this function is actually going to return a string. Okay, I am a function. Okay, I am a function. And let me just give this save. Okay, and now instead of writing this thing directly here, what I'm going to do, I'm just going to type this thing, some function. Okay, so if I just do what I can say, if I just execute this function, some function. Okay, if I just execute this function, what we are going to get, like this function is just going to execute and it's just going to return this string. So let me just store this thing in some another variable. So you can name this thing and this variable anything. So I'm just going to name this variable UI, and I'm just going to put this UI here. Okay, and if I just give it a save, I'm going to get I'm function here. Okay, so what we have done till now, I have just created a function. I just created a function which is just actually returning a string. Okay, so here I executed that function and it's actually returned this thing. I am a function. We stored this value here, and now we have passed this value inside this root.render. Why? Because whatever you pass inside here, hello, like I am a string or like something like this, it's just going to be visible on your screen, isn't it? Whatever you pass here. So instead of passing something directly, what I generally do, like you can just pass this variable here. Okay, and now let's just move to one more thing, and after that you will get to know about React component. So we are actually understanding the React component without even knowing it. So instead of returning this a string or something like that, I can also return this HTML, because we can do write some HTML inside this React. It's actually JSX. So I'm just going to return hello I am function. Okay, and if I just give it a save, okay, so okay, we are going to get this thing here. Okay, so whatever you write here, so hello I'm a function, and I have just executed this function, and this function actually returns this JSX or something like that, and it's just stored here, and I'm using this thing here. Okay, now let me just show you one more thing, how we can do styling. Like we have two ways to do style. I'm just going to go over here and I'm just going to type style equals to and 2 times curly brackets, and I'm just going to give a background color. Okay, let me just use background color of red, and if I just give it a save, and now it will have a background color of red, isn't it? Color, and I'm just going to put white here. So I'm just going to have a red background with white text on it. Okay, so this thing is actually called a component. So component is nothing, it's just a function which is actually returning this HTML, and these things are called React components. Yep, it is React component, a function which actually returns JSX. So from now, I'm just going to call this thing JSX. Okay, and by the way, you could have also stored this JSX into a variable directly. So you can just create a variable and you can store this, like let me just remove everything for now. So remember, I can just create directly here, like h1 I am a JSX, and you can just give it a save. So this is JSX, which is stored in this variable that we can put here only. Okay, so you can just go over here and copy paste this thing directly. It's just going to work same. And instead of like creating a variable, storing some UI, I have just created a function. I just created a function, some function, and this function is actually returning a thing. And if you have any doubt related to the function, just ping me in the chat. Like I'm just using very basic function. It's a function which is just returning something. That's all. Okay, that's all. And there is one more thing that I just want to tell you. If you create a function which actually returns some kind of as JSX, just try to, like, there is a rule that you have to always start this function name with a capital letter. Okay, so instead of doing SOM, like a small SOM, I'm just going to increase the first letter to S. Okay, just make the first letter capital, and now I'm just going to do it here. Okay, why I'm telling you this, let me just show you one more thing. Okay, so now this thing is a function. Okay, this thing is a function, and a function which returns JSX is a React component. So it's the one of the most important concept of React component. And now if somebody asks you like what is React component, React components are just like regular functions which just return some kind of HTML which is actually JSX. And now let me just tell you one more thing. If you create a function which returns this thing, instead of like what I can do here as well, like instead of just calling this function and then storing the value in some another variable, what we can do, we can just copy paste this thing and we can directly paste it here, isn't it? We can do it. Obviously we like this, if this thing is returning something, we can do this thing. It's basic JavaScript. So if somebody have doubts in this line, just ping me in the chat so that I can fix this doubt. And now I am just going to remove this line, and if I just give it a save, so we are getting the exact same thing. Okay, it's just not going to make any difference. But now if you create a function which returns something like some JSX, now instead of calling the function in this manner, we can use this function like a HTML tag. So let me just show you. So what you can do, I can use this function like a HTML tag. So here is our function, some function. So just use these brackets, like these two arrow brackets, and inside this just paste the function name. Okay, and now as you can see here, you have created a component, a React component. So if you create a function which returns something, now you can use that function as a HTML element, okay, like as a JSX element. And if I just go over here, we are just going to see the exact same thing. So now this thing is a proper React component. And let me just show you the difference. Like if I just put an emoji here, okay, and here just you're going to see the emoji as well. Okay, so this is all about React components. Okay, now let me just tell you one more thing, that you can create as much as component you want, and you can use any component inside of some another component. Okay, so for now I'm just going to create one more component. So let me just create const, and for now I'm just going to name this thing component only. Okay, component. Okay, so component is just a function with which actually returns something. So I'm just going to return h4 here. I am a component. Okay, I am a component, and I'm just going to give it a save. And if this thing is a component, I can basically put this thing here, and there's multiple ways to do that. I can just call the function here, and if I just give it a save, I'm just going to get this I am a component. Okay, but if you create a component, don't ever call the function, because it's not a good practice. Always try to use this thing. Okay, just put use the component like a regular HTML element. Okay, component and a closing tag. Okay, if I just give it a save, I'm just going to get the exact same output. Now let me just give this some style as well. Background color blue, and if I just give this thing background color blue, it's blue now. And let me just give a color as well. So color white. So it's just going to be a white in color. But let me just tell you one more thing. You can use one component inside of another component. So for now, I'm just going to use this sum function component here. Okay, sum function component here. So we are going to see this sum. Hey, I am a function. Okay, now no, you are not a function, you are a component. And now if you want to use some your own created component inside some another component, it's very easy. Like suppose if I just want to use a component here, so for that just use the component as a regular HTML tag. Okay, just as a regular HTML tag. And if I just give it a save, you will see that this component is inside this component. Like if I just go over here and paste this thing at the very top. Okay, so this is the thing. Basically we are going to cover this stuff tomorrow, like in a very depth, like in very detailed stuff and all. And by the way, that's all. Like we can create some components, we can use these components, and we can basically use component with just by adding them, just by joining them. But now let me tell you what was that, what is this app.js. Okay, so for now I'm just going to remove everything for now. Okay, everything for now. Let me just don't remove anything. I'm just going to create a separate file. Okay, inside the source folder I'm just going to create a separate file, and I'm just going to name this file component.js. Okay, and here I'm going to create my component. Okay, so for that I'm just going to copy this whole thing. Let's just cut this thing. Okay, let's just cut this thing from here, and I'm just going to paste this function here. Okay, and now what I'm going to do, basically what we do, we create separate files for separate components, so it's very easy to understand and very easy to maintain. So here I've just created a separate file, and inside this file I've just created this function, that function which actually returns something. And now I just want to use this function inside this file. Okay, and obviously it's just going to throw me an error if I just try to this component. If I just try to use this here, I'm just going to get an error that this component is not defined, obviously because it's not present here in this file. So what you can do, you can import anything from some another file. So you can basically share the things from some files and all. So what I want to do, I want to share this component, like this component function, from this component.jsx. So what you have to do, just type export default component. Okay, export default, and the name of the function or the variable that you want to export. By the way, we will cover this export part in depth. And now what I can do, I can just import this thing in my file. Okay, in this file. So for that, just to go over here and type import component, and after that you have to locate the file. Import component from, and after that you have to locate the file. So if the file is in same folder, just do dot and the backslash, and this is the file where this component function is. And now I can use this component and I'm not going to get any error. So if I just go over here, so let me just see, imported as default. Okay, sorry, I just forgot to do save it. Okay, so I am a component, so we are getting the component here. Okay, similarly they have also done the same thing. So they created a file called app.js, and inside this app.js they created this function called app. Okay, they created this function called app. So I'm just we can also do this thing. So if I just let me just remove everything from here. So they have also created a component called app here. So this is a function. So let me just write this whole function one more time, and after that I will just paste everything one more time. Okay, so I'm just going to remove this thing. So let me just create a const app equals to this thing, and this thing is going to return whatever you want it to return. Like I'm just going to use h1 I am app. Okay, and they have also exported this thing. Okay, they have also exported this thing, and inside the index they have imported this app, and they were using this app here. And now what I can do, I can just remove this thing, and if I just give it a save, so we are going to get app here. Okay, I am app. Okay, and what I'm just going to do, I'm just going to put the content that we created just now. So this is the thing that we have written here, and if I just give it a save, I'm just going to get my whole counter app here. And one more thing you can notice, we are not actually touching this thing outside of the box, because React is not able to modify this thing. React is actually, what React is doing, I think you got the chain here. So whatever you write here is actually getting inside this root division. So now let me just remove this for now, and let me just give it a save. So we have created the UI for our counter app, and we also understood how this thing actually works. So by the way, let me just go here and let's see. Okay, why we cannot use two division inside a single function? So basically you can only return single thing. Okay, a component can only return a single element. Okay, so it could be div or something like that. You can only return one thing. If you just want to return multiple thing, use a div. Okay, and inside the div you can use the rest of the stuff. Okay, what is magneto? I don't know what is the magneto. What is the use? Okay, return. Yeah, you can do this, but it's called React fragment, and I just don't want to touch the advanced stuff for now. Okay, anywhere here for into the Angular. Okay, which is the font you? Dank Mono is the font I am using. VS Code terminal. What is the extension to download? What is the extension we have to download for the React in VS Code? So for the React, you can just type find these extensions like auto complete text. Okay, you can just go with auto rename tag, auto close tag, auto import, auto complete tag, and these are all. And after that you have to just type React here and press enter in extension. So just use React snippets. Okay, simple React snippets, so it will help you to write React code faster. And you can also download this ES7 plus React Redux snippets and all, and rest is on you. By the way, that's all for today. Just let me know that if you got little bit of all the stuff, like how we create this thing. And by the way, if we can use, yeah, you can only use these curly brackets. Yeah, Ajay, you can, we use these curly brackets to put any kind of variables. If you just want to put any kind of variables inside this, you can just use these curly brackets. Okay. Yeah, I will let you know how to change your font by tomorrow. And by the way, for to mark the attendance, if you have to mark the attendance to get the certificate, just go inside, what you can say, go to in the description, and you will find a one link here. Click on this one link, and you will just you can just mark the attendance, and you will find a attendance here. So I have already marked my attendance. That's why it's showing me that mark attendance here. There you will find a scale between 0 to 10, and if you like the session, you can just put the 10, and if you don't like that session, don't put 0. Okay, don't do anything. And after that, we have one more question, like if you are interested in our full stack program. So if you are if you are into the software engineering, and if you want to learn this thing from the very scratch to the very top, you can just visit our website letsupgrade.in, and there you will find our two courses, one for the full stack web development, and another one is for the full stack data science program. You can enroll it. These both courses are completely job ready. You will get a job as soon as you complete the course. And if you want to have a discount, like I have a coupon code for you, just go to the description, and here we'll find the coupon code SK10. Use this coupon code to get instant 10% off. Okay, so this was all for today, and I hope you got some information from today's session. Just give it a try, and we will meet tomorrow, and we are tomorrow just going to make this thing work. So today we just completed the UI. Into tomorrow session we will just increase this number, and it's going to be a super cool lecture, because in that you will also understand one of the most important concept of React, which is called states. Okay, see you tomorrow. Bye bye.